Hello and welcome to the latest, freshest, hottest Gribbly's Folly Sunday Antisocial Hour. That time each week, oh shit, when I smoke my pipe and complain about humanity while answering all of its questions. And if you are a piece of humanity with a question for me, leave it in the comments down below using the hashtag AskGribbs. I will answer any question that you could in your deepest, blackest heart of hearts. Whatever question resides down there, I'm your man. I am only pretending to smoke the Friday Savinelli. Thank you, old Greg, for the gift of this pipe. I'm only pretending to smoke it because there's a giant thunderstorm outside, and I don't want to be in the garage because I don't want to die. I would love to be doing other things. I was making Minecraft videos. There's new videos up on the Gribbs Grinds channel. Link below if you're into that. Most of you aren't, apparently. A lot of people complain about anytime I mention Minecraft. Anytime I have fun, people complain. I was making a Minecraft video. I had the headphones on, but you don't want to wear headphones during a lightning storm if you knew my father, who was a ham radio operator, and he knew a guy who wore headphones during a lightning storm. And after hearing that story, I'm not going to do that. Like, it wasn't that his brains literally boiled and oozed out of his ears, but effectively that was pretty much the same thing in terms of the rest of his life. I've been playing my guitar. I got my guitar amp fixed. I've been playing for years with headphones. My Ampeg Reverberocket tube amp has been in the closet because it broke. And I've been playing with headphones because I didn't want a divorce. Apparently I don't care anymore because I got my amp fixed. Can't play it because playing electric guitar, lightning storm, then the path of the electricity goes through the bad part. That's the part you don't. It's like the Horn of Africa in there. There's Somali pirates and stuff. I went back and for research purposes, I went back and watched some of my videos from February of 2020, which is a real trip, honestly. Yeah, maybe I'll post those someday. All that stuff is unlisted now. The point is, I made this point then, and I've made it since. I wasn't scared about COVID until Larry Kudlow from the Trump administration, #1, came out and said, we've got this thing contained pretty much airtight. That was when I knew. When people in power make assertions without evidence, assume the opposite is true. On July 21st, Health Secretary RFK Jr. said that the cyclosporiasis outbreak is under control. At that time, there were 1,645 cases. It's a lot. That's a lot. And then by July 29th, there were 18,000. This is fun. I'm really excited to be living in this bold new. There were just too many. There was too much safety. And now we don't have. Now we just have the animating contest of freedom. Diarrhea freedom. The thing about it is, I went back to those old videos and I was amazed by how much I felt I could do. Like watching these videos, like vlogging, there was one called Gribbs Goes Panic Buying, where we could go to the store and buy toilet paper or whatever. It didn't really make a lot of sense, but you could go do something. And with this, it's like none of the stuff in the store is safe anymore. We gotta go stock up on like lettuce and Imodium. We just have an Imodium salad. Other news, Jared Leto. Jared Leto under new... He's fending off new allegations from sexual assault. Who would have ever thought that such a trustworthy-looking face could hide such whatever's in there? Like, I knew this dude was a creep when I watched My So-Called Life, because Angela Chase, she should have been with me, 13-year-old Gribbs. I was perfect for her, but she fell for this creep, right? But I mean, seriously, the first part that he ever played was Jordan Catalano, like. We should have known. And in other creep news, my congressman, Chuck Edwards, successor to Madison Cawthorn, successor to Mark Meadows. It's like NC-11, our district is like the Defense Against the Dark Arts position. Like these people get elected because they're supposed to be defending against exactly what they are. Yeah, turns out my congressman really likes to send his young female interns lots of ice cream. That he's had to resign because he sent them too much ice cream. I think that's, yeah. But seriously, when you're sending texts to your interns and you're like, I'd love to see, I need to see you again. You know what? I'll just skip the votes tomorrow. so I can. You're a congressman, but just like a modicum of common sense. Like, what, as you're texting your illicit affair partner, shouldn't you be thinking, what will this look like if it gets leaked? And the Buncombe County Republican Women's Organization, whatever they're called, they have come out in support of him. They say they're just so disappointed that he has chosen to resign, and they wish God's best, I think is the quote. They wish God's best for him and his wife that he was cheating on. How did I shouldn't, what the fuck is, how, no, we're just going to move on. We're just going to move on to your questions. At PRO says, I feel for you. We were talking about the shingles. My insurance won't cover a cardiac test my doctor says I badly need and can't afford to pay for it myself. No. What is wrong with people? What is the point of living in the most advanced technological society ever in history if we can't use the healthcare? Okay, is that all the doomy stuff? Is that, can we get through? Okay, Blake, Roman numerals, says, I miss the original feel of the YTPC, down for a Zoom. There's a tunnel, because we were talking about tunnels. There's a tunnel network that comes up occasionally in the Denver subreddit, but we also have old missile silos. Bucket list item, tornadoes, and we got to talk about the tornado. Wait. No, I can do this. I can stay on task. Yes, we should do a Zoom. There was somebody else. Who was it? Power Level Appalachia. I would love to join a tech ethics, photography, and or fly fishing Zoom call sometime. We should do this. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into like how we should do this. We would have to record it and, I don't know, like a live stream that people comment on. Would that be the easiest way? I'm gonna look into it. We had a tornado. This is the second one this year. This is what they're not supposed to be tornadoes in the mountains, even though that's not really true. But statistically, we have very few tornadoes here in Asheville, North Carolina. It's not what you think of when you think tornadoes. Normally I think of like Kansas. But Kansas isn't really where they have a lot. It's not. They have a lot of tornadoes. They don't have most of the tornadoes in Kansas. Like if you look at a map, Wizard of Oz should have been set in like Missouri. I don't think we're in Missouri anymore. Toto. It doesn't have the same ring. A little bit of creative license, right? So I'm looking outside, right? Looking outside, I'm like, man, it's kind of stormy out there. And for background, I'm the tornado nerd. Like I'm the guy that like during tornado season, I am on the tornado subreddit all the time. I'm always looking at the mesoscale discussions and reading, what city is going to get wiped off. Really just the trailer parks in the city. Which trailer parks are going to be wiped off the map? But it's late July. It's not supposed to. This is not tornado time anymore. This is no longer tornado 30. It's not Twister o'clock. So I wasn't looking. It was me, of all people. I got caught by surprise by the tornado. So I got this comment on the Helene video from Lupus Reinhardt. Interesting name. What we learned, they talked about a disaster that he or she went through. What we learned is that gut feelings are always right. And what we verified was that analog manual devices are key. So I'm looking out the window and I'm like, man, it's really stormy out there. But I'm not worried about it. It's July. We get storms every day. We're not getting mesocyclones. They're just pop-up thunderstorms. And then my wife sends me a message. My brother-in-law, he's under a tornado warning 40 miles that way. I'm home with kiddo. And, when we try to take a walk every day. And my dumb ass is like, well, that's 40 miles away. Like, we should take our walk right now. Make sure we get it done, before. But the tornado warning isn't gonna. This is the mountains. Tornado warnings, they last like 5 seconds because there's never a tornado. And so we take the walk, and on the walk, I'm just trying to like get ahead of what might happen. And I'm telling my son, when they issue tornado warnings, you got to take it seriously because you never know when it is really going to be a thing, but it's never really going to be a thing. We've never, other than, earlier this year, and a few other times, we've never had a tornado warning here. But if there is one, this is what we would do, like we would go to the basement, we'd hang out just out of an abundance of caution. I'm letting you know that's what would happen. Isn't that interesting? I presented it as like educational. Like, this is the protocol. This is why you follow the protocol. Come back from our walk, and like as we're walking in the door, the weather radio goes off, and there's a tornado warning. So the first takeaway was the speed with which it happened, like how quickly that cell got to us. And then the second takeaway was like, man, I don't want to go to the basement. It's gross down there. But you know what's grosser is death. Like when they sew your lips together in the casket, that's gross. You know they do that? I mean, granted, if you got your head chopped off by like a flying piece of sheet metal in a tornado, you probably wouldn't have an open casket. Anyway, so I start getting messages, like as we're preparing to go to the basement, I start getting messages from everyone that's like, hey, do you know there's a tornado coming? Well, yeah, I do, because the weather radio went off. But everybody else was getting alerts on their phone. I did not get an alert on my phone until I got the alert for the all clear, until the storm had passed. That's problematic. It's the exact same experience I had in Helene, where some people got the alerts, some people did not. Since Helene, Buncombe County has like revamped their alert system, and they just knocked everybody off of it. You had to go re-sign up for the alerts. Luckily, I stayed in touch with news and stuff, so I knew to do that. So I had signed up for the alerts. Didn't matter. My neighbor on the street also did not get the alerts. I don't know if it was location-based. Who knows? Who knows? But if I hadn't had the weather radio, if my wife hadn't sent me a message to say this is happening, I wouldn't have known. Until I got the gut feeling that you get when you look outside and it's like as dark as twilight and the sky is green. That would have tipped me off. I think this is the second time in my life I've ever had to shelter in place. I was a kid the first time we had to go to the basement. And so it's just kind of this thing that I carry around in my head of like, yeah, we've got a basement. We'll just go to the basement. But the process of doing that and getting kiddo down the stairs and trying to keep him calm. I mean, he's 11. He handled himself very well. Mostly because I put a screen in his hands, and he was upset, but it wasn't. I didn't have to be hands on the entire time. I could come up back to the house and get the things that he wanted. I was pretty much just running errands for my kid. But if you're a tornado guy or gal or non-binary, if you're a tornado non-binary person, then you've probably seen the video of the beginning of the Joplin tornado, and there's like 30 seconds. There's like 30 seconds between like, oh, there's a wispy little funnel cloud, and oh my God, that's the end of our town. Don't worry, everybody, we've got this tornado contained airtight. Oh, is that a school bus? So my wife was out, and of course I'm concerned about her. She's concerned about us, and there's lots of texting back and forth. Meanwhile, I'm trying to text other people who might not have gotten the alerts. There's just the communication, like there's too much communication. Not enough. That there should have been, somebody should figure out how to warn. If there was a way to send a message to everyone at once when there was a tornado siren at where my wife was. That's cool. That worked. Didn't start till the tornado had passed, but it was something. So I think the actual, like the most useful thing was watching Max Velocity, which I was trying to do on my phone while sending messages. But like if you're a tornado nerd and all of a sudden Max Velocity goes live and he's talking about your town, that's a surreal experience. But yeah, the main takeaway is if we had relied on government messaging, we never would have even like known it was happening until it was over. The other takeaway is I think next time we're just going to hide in the bathroom, because the time that it took to get to the basement is not worth the extra protection of the basement for our area. Statistically, like we've never had, in North Carolina, we've never had the types of tornadoes that level the house to the foundation. That's never happened in North Carolina. I feel really bad for saying that. Parsons Project. Gribbs subscribes to the 2X Prepper subreddit for the articles, not the pictures. There are no pictures. These are not women preppers posting pictures of themselves with like a bandolier of, 50 BMG rounds between their boobs. That's not, you misread. Panchuchin. Chuchin is a term I had forgotten all about. Panchuchin says, finally found you from the old YTPC years ago. Your channel had a different channel name back then. Is it still Old Limey Bastard? I don't think it was ever. That would have been a really good channel name. Do you do live streams? I don't. I probably should. That might. Maybe the Sunday Anti-Social should be a live. So you see, I tripped over my words, and I'm not going to go back and fix it. I'm not. I'm going to leave that mistake in there. I'm going to let it be imperfect. Maybe we should try it. Maybe we should try to do a live stream one Sunday morning. One of the reasons I don't do this is I'm almost never available on a Sunday morning, so I record ahead of time. Maybe we should try it. Let me know what you think. Would you tune in to a Sunday Anti-Social live stream at a particular time, even if it wasn't on a Sunday? Let me know in the comments. Thank you. Yeah, Chuchin was there was a moment in the YTPC where we were all Chuchin. What was that, like 2017? Remember the Cobb mob? We're all Chuchin all the time. That was great. At Wally Video says, I had to stop my DJ business after decades of playing for weddings, receptions, ceremonies. My question to you is, what kind of memories do you have of good or bad DJs? Before I answer this question, why did you have to stop your business? That seems like context we need. Just kidding. You know, I can't stop talking. I'm going to answer the question. DJs are problematic. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. DJs and photographers often don't get along because of the lights. That's the one thing. The bride spends like $5 million on a dress. It's white, and then the DJ shows up with like giant like RGB floodlights, LEDs. Like on. This is a conversation that I have with every couple. I'm like, are you going to have a DJ? What do you want me to do about this? Because the other option is I put strobes on sticks and we bounce light off the ceiling and it looks like a photo studio. It looks great, but then you're not capturing the vibe. And the vibe is there's a DJ with ugly lights on everything. But it seems like the DJs are the ones, for whatever reason, the DJs are the ones that show up late. Like, not all the time, but if there's someone that shows up late, it's the DJ. There are a couple of DJs around town that are like on point. They are on top of their game. They do a really good job. And there are a couple of DJs that I wonder what they're still doing in this industry. I think the main thing is you have to be engaged when you're the DJ. You can't just hide behind the turn. You gotta be working the crowd, because otherwise you're just like a fixture. You're like the guy behind the bar pouring the drinks. Like you need to talk to people. I don't know why people who are antisocial get into this business. Moving on. The storm has passed. I am going to go do things that are dangerous to do during a storm. Thank you for watching. More soon. And keep the ends out for the ties that bind.